revealing God's last miraculous words to Lucifer, the sacred conversation that changed everything. In the eternal expanse of time, before the dawn of creation, in the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the Lord God gathered his heavenly host. Heaven shimmered with opulence, where the harmonies of the seraphim arose like golden waves, woven in exaltation and adoration. The celestial atmosphere was thick with divine presence, radiating peace and awe. Among these luminous beings stood Lucifer, the morning star, resplendent in his glory and esteemed in his position as the guardian of divine splendor. The tranquil beauty of heaven was disrupted by a sudden hush that fell over the gathering. God, whose voice resonated through the cosmos, prepared to reveal a monumental plan, an unfolding intention that would transform the fabric of existence. The angels turned their gaze, entranced, as the Almighty approached. His visage was the essence of majesty and love, his voice a symphony that sent shivers through the heavenly realm. "My cherished creation," he addressed Lucifer, "hear my heart. I am crafting beings who will bear my likeness, capable of knowing me and choosing to love me of their own volition." The air thickened with sacred anticipation, and Lucifer, standing before the Almighty, felt a rush of emotions. On the one hand, his heart leaped at the prospect of a new creation, yet a tempest brewed within him. "O God, what of the glory due to those who have been faithful to you?" he questioned, his voice tinged with confusion and rising discontent. "What honor remains for those like me who have stood in your light?" "As the patience of a father," God responded, "it is out of love that I choose to give them free will, for love cannot thrive in coercion. Through disobedience they may fall, but through redemption they shall rise. They will know my heart, and in their humility they will reflect my glory." The warmth of his words yet carried a piercing truth, forcing Lucifer to confront the pride swelling within him. "A mere creation from dust and breath, will they surpass me?" he pondered, a whisper of envy creeping into his thoughts. "Will my light no longer be the brightest among your creations?" This bewilderment began to morph into insidious temptation. The allure of recognition and supremacy sparked a smoldering rebellion in his heart, clouding the brilliance of the light he once embraced. Sensing the shift within Lucifer's spirit, God extended a parental invitation wrapped in both grace and gravity. "Your heart, O Lucifer, is grieved by my plan. Know this, I extend a covenant of love to you. Choose obedience, for in my design you may still find your glory, but pride will lead you to ruin." The words hung in the air as silence enveloped the assembly, the intensity palpable, as if the very stars held their breath. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories.
Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now, let's continue with what the Lord did next. As the sacred conversation unfolded, profound uncertainties loomed, intertwining the divine will with the errant aspirations of Lucifer. The weight of eternity bore down upon the heavenly audience, each angel experiencing various shades of tension, a tapestry of faith interwoven with trepidation. What path would Lucifer choose? What consequences would echo through time? The light of eternity flickered, revealing the impending battle between light and darkness, as the celestial beings awaited the fateful decision poised to alter the course of creation forever. In the celestial stillness, tension loosed itself into the hearts of the watching angels, their luminous forms trembling at the palpable disharmony unfolding before the throne. Lucifer, once the adored bearer of light, stood at a crossroads within himself, wrestling with the tumultuous tides of pride and confusion that had ebbed and flowed within him since God had unveiled his divine plan. As silence stretched, God's presence grew heavier, an omnipotent gravity that commanded all attention. "O Lucifer," the Lord spoke again, his voice echoing like thunder weaving through the delicate fabric of creation. "Search not the depths of your heart for fame nor recognition. My designs are clothed in humility, and my glory is bestowed upon those who surrender their desires for my purposes." These words struck Lucifer like arrows, piercing the veil of his arrogance. An inner tumult surged. "Why must my light diminish for the sake of those formed from dust?" he thought, conflict raging within him. "How can the creatures of clay and breath fathom the heights of your majesty? Is it not just for the faithful, for those who have carried your light, to remain first in your presence?" The other angels remained motionless,
their eyes fixed upon Lucifer as they comprehended the gravity of the conflict at hand. They too felt the stirrings of fear, as if a shadow loomed, threatening the harmony of heaven itself. "You were created to serve and to reflect my light, to be a marvel among the host," God continued, his voice heavy yet tender. "But the heart that seeks its own glory is on the brink of ruin. I created you with free will, and in that choice lies both your majesty and your peril, O morning star." Lucifer's countenance faltered, the light in his eyes dimming with the weight of his rebellion's realization. Deep within, a relentless desire for autonomy festooned his once pure heart. "What if I can scheme, O God?
What if I can weave a new destiny, one where my light shall never fail to shine? In their fall, will they not render themselves as shadows, and I shall rise anew in their absence?" A whisper of malice bred within him, setting forth a dark path towards discontent. "Beware, Lucifer, do not turn from what you are," God warned, his tone laced with urgency. "Do not fall prey to the illusions that beguile your heart, for in your quest for supremacy, you forsake the purpose for which you were made. You are wrought with magnificence to inspire worship and lead the heavenly chorus, not to dismantle its harmony." The echoes of divine warning hung in the cosmic air, yet the seductive whispers of ambition held Lucifer captive. As he gazed upon the souls that may one day come to know the Lord, he resolved in his spirit that he should be the center of that devotion. At that moment, God declared, "You stand upon the precipice, Lucifer. Choose whom you will serve, the light of my creation or the shadows of your pride. I await your answer, but know this, the consequence of your chosen path will ripple through the ages." A divine stillness enveloped the assembly as the heavenly host bore witness to the unfolding drama. The weight of the moment bore down heavily, each heartbeat resonating with the clarity of an eternal decision. The future lingered in the air, a destiny split in two, one leading to grace, the other to despair. From the depths of his rebellion, an insidious resolve began to take root in Lucifer's heart, leading to an unfathomable end. As uncertainty blanketed the host, what decision would the morning star ultimately embrace? For within it lay not just his fate, but the very fate of all creation. The eternal question now echoed across the heavens. Would light triumph, or would darkness seize dominion? Unbeknownst to all, God's sovereign plan was far greater than any could perceive, for he was weaving a tapestry of redemption even in the presence of rebellion. What would come of this betrayal that seemed to shadow the light? Only time would reveal the fullness of his promise. In the stillness of heaven, as the weight of God's words hung heavy in the air, the angels' hearts quivered with anticipation. All eyes were fixed upon Lucifer, who stood at a moral crossroads, his heart a battleground of light and shadow. "Choose, O morning star," God implored, his voice resonating with divine authority. "For with each moment you linger in doubt, the fabric of creation quakes under the weight of your choice. I have given you dominion over the realms of light, yet your desire stretches to the depths of darkness. What has become of the radiant being I crafted from the stardust?" Lucifer, blind to the cascading glory of servanthood laid before him, felt the stirrings of rebellion churn within, igniting a boldness that threatened to extinguish his former splendor. "What of your creation, Lord? The clay molded into beings yet unaware of their inherent worth?"
"They will never know the heights and splendor that I hold. Why should I remain in their service when I can forge my path, rise above, and claim what is rightfully mine?" His voice trembled with a mixture of defiance and despair. The angels murmured softly among themselves, an array of expressions painting their luminous faces, grief, fear, and a growing dread of the tumultuous turn the narrative might take. Michael, the commander of heaven's hosts, advanced from behind the throne with a countenance resolute. "O Lucifer, remember the joy of our harmonious service. You were made to lead us in glory, not to wade through shadows of your own making." But Lucifer, emboldened by the whispers of ambition, dismissed their counsel. "You fail to see the potential of greatness that lies before us. Have we not been blessed with freedom? Let us seize it, unfurl our wings not in service, but in exaltation. I shall ascend and be like the Most High." His heart pulsed with a darkened fervor, as if igniting an inferno within his spirit. "Your path leads only to destruction," God's voice cut through the resounding echoes, softer now, yet filled with heartbreaking plea. "You seek to ascend, yet it is in your descent that salvation awaits the world. The creation to which you refer is called to glory and beauty, not through pride, but through humility and love. My grace gives light to the shadow, transforming the dust into vessels of immense worth." For a brief moment, the brilliance of God's design illuminated Lucifer's conflicted soul, a flicker of grace in the darkness. But just as quickly it was swallowed by the tempest of his rebellion. "I refuse to wallow in the insignificance of mortals. The fate of creation should not rest on the frailty of flesh. No longer will I bargain my brilliance for a place in this hierarchy. I shall carve my reign and shape the cosmos in my image." "The price for such rebellion is separation from the light, Lucifer," God warned, a grave sorrow piercing through his tone. "Your ambition clouds the splendor of your purpose. Reject it, and you will face the consequence. I have destined my creation for a monumental story, one that begins with sacrifice." The angels collectively gasped, their ethereal glow dimming as the weight of dread hung in the air. "Though you plunge into darkness, I will weave a redemption unseen, one that will resonate through the ages, a promise that one day will break the veils of sin and despair." As the echoes of God's forewarnings lingered, the shadows of rebellion began to fester within Lucifer, his resolve hardening against the divine intent. "Then so it shall be. I shall rise, even if it means casting my own light into the blackness." In that moment, as the chasm of rebellion yawned wide before him, God's heart ached with a love that would not falter, a commitment written into the very fabric of existence.
Within the silent despair, a new question arose, intertwining with the whispers of heaven. How could redemption triumph over the churning void of betrayal? Thus, the stage was set, the eternal struggle within the cosmic tapestry had begun, and the shadows deepened as the divine narrative unfolded with uncertain endings. The questions swelled in the hearts of the faithful. What new purpose was God weaving through Lucifer's descent into darkness, and what light awaited in the age of shadows to come? And so it was, in that sacred moment, that the heavens trembled with the weight of certainty and choice. The expanse of creation held its breath, as if the very stars awaited the outcome of Lucifer's defiance. God, knowing all that was to transpire, spoke again, his voice imbued with a calm yet fierce authority. "O Lucifer, pride has found root in thy heart, yet I have not forsaken you. An opportunity remains, a slender thread of grace for you to grasp. Choose the path of humility, turn back from the abyss, and know the glory of my purpose. The beauty of creation shall not be marred by your choice." Yet Lucifer's heart, now hardened like stone, resisted the divine hand stretched forth in mercy. "I will not be shackled by the limitations of your creatures. I shall not surrender my freedom to the yoke of servitude. My ascent is etched in the stars, and I will claim dominion." His words fell into the void, like thunder echoing through a desolate canyon. As those words dwindled, Michael, the warrior of light, stepped forth, his wings unfolding radiantly, casting a brilliance that momentarily illuminated the darkness within Lucifer. "Brother, do not delude yourself with visions of singular power. Every star shines in place by his divine design. To defy his will is to extinguish your light. You have been endowed with beauty, strength, and wisdom. Do not forfeit them for the fleeting grasp of supremacy." But in the depths of his rebellion, Lucifer scoffed at Michael's counsel.
You speak of beauty and wisdom, yet it is I who am blinded by the limits placed upon me. I have envisioned a new order, one where I shall reign supreme, not as a servant, but as the architect of a new destiny. His voice was a crescendo of ambition, echoing through the storied halls of heaven. Meanwhile, the angelic host observed with heavy hearts, their luminescence dimming as doubt encircled their spirits. Was it possible that such a radiant being, deemed worthy of glory, could plunge into the shadows turned by rebellion? They began to murmur softly, beseeching God for clarity, for they too wrestled with fear, a fear of losing the harmony they had known since their creation. Then God spoke again, his tone filled with both grief and resolute love. Lucifer, the essence of my creation is not in pursuit of glory, but in the love shared among one another. You were created in love, to foster love. Though you seek your own elevation, it is in the embrace of servanthood where true power lies.
A moment of silence fell, thick with the tension of decision. The ardor of defiance wavered as the truth of God's words hovered in the air. Within the wisdom of surrender lay an unfathomable strength. If only you could see, O fallen one, continued God, that in your willingness to serve, you would inherit a glory that surpasses your wildest desires. Yet Lucifer sagged beneath a blanket of darkness woven from the threads of ambition and pride. Don't you see, my freedom is also my power. I will have all the worlds bow to my magnificence. I shall be revered and feared. Watch as I ascend. The very heavens quaked as these words filled the celestial realm, sealing his fate with the ferocity of a tempest. With a divine sigh that echoed through eternity, God turned his gaze toward the expanse of creation. Then go forth in your choice, and know this, your rebellion shall not thwart my plan. For through your darkness, I will bring forth a light that will guide the lost, and a love that will restore the broken. Redemption woven unfailingly through the fabric of your purpose. The suspense clung to the air as the cosmic forces shifted. What would be the consequence of such rebellion, and what redemption could possibly emerge from the depths of such darkness? In that profound silence, the hearts of the faithful resonated with the lingering questions of heaven. How would the tale of the morning star unravel, and what plans did God hold for the world yet to be conceived? And so it came to pass, in the aftermath of the great declaration, that a trembling swept through the host of heaven, carrying with it the weight of inevitable conflict. The angels fluttered as the air thickened with trepidation, knowing that Lucifer's choice would ripple through all of creation. Michael, though fiercely loyal to the Most High, could not suppress the sorrow that washed over him. O fallen one, your choice will echo through eternity. You may believe you have chosen freedom, yet such freedom wields a devastating price. Have you not seen the beauty of unity that flourishes under his light? His voice rang, imbued with a desperate hope that still clung to remnants of fraternal love. Yet Lucifer stood resolute, his gaze piercing through the veil of celestial peace. Unity, ha, what of it? It is but a mantle for those who fear to seize their destiny. I shall weave my own fabric of existence. Witness, all of you, as I strip away this illusion that binds us. He spoke with a voice that rumbled like the peals of thunder, and the heavens trembled. With the darkness spreading from Lucifer like a consuming fire, God spoke once more, his voice echoing like distant thunder. If you will not turn, know this, I will provide a refuge for my creation. You may rise to power, yet your reign shall be but an illusion. The hearts of those who follow you will find themselves in the shadow of despair, for only my light yields true joy.
As God issued this decree, the angels stood firm, yet their hearts were heavy with dread. They exchanged glances filled with sorrow and disbelief. Their spirits whispered among themselves, contemplating their loyalty against the growing darkness. Could there be a flicker of redemption, even within Lucifer's fury? Lucifer, seeing their hesitance, raised his voice in defiance. There lies the crux of your error, dear brothers. You speak of joy and servitude, yet you miss the truth. Speak not of refuge, but of chains. I shall liberate all from the shackles of compliance. In the grand cosmic balance, the divine tension reached its zenith as God unveiled his truth. I have placed within you the seeds of greatness, Lucifer.
but you choose to cultivate greed. Understand, the very rebellion you lay claim to shall sow discord among your followers, for many shall be led astray into the void of your ambition. Your choice summons darkness, but my light will stand resolute against it. In that moment, the heavens reverberated with divine resolve. Despite Lucifer's resistance, the celestial order would not be deformed by his ambition. And as the angelic host drew closer and vowed to uphold the sacred purpose, they would soon be drawn into battle, a conflict spiraling from the defiance of one celestial being. As echoes of divine judgment lingered, God turned his gaze outward, crafting a new plan amidst the swirling darkness. Hearts shall be tested, souls forged in fire, and from your fall, O morning star, shall emerge the brilliance of redemption. Through your rebellion, I will weave a tapestry of grace that will demonstrate my glory and reveal my intentions to a lost creation. The stakes of conflict raised to unfathomable heights, where God's sovereign plan would unfold in ways unseen, as the shadows deepened and the war in heaven loomed on the horizon. Thus the eternal dance of rebellion had begun, setting the stage for a great and holy transformation. What prophetic vision awaited those who would rise against pride, and how would they comprehend the depth of God's perfect love? Amidst the dire predicament, a divine glimmer beckoned, one that would change the very course of creation itself. And it came to pass, as the host of heaven became ensnared in the throes of conflict, that Michael, the chief of the angelic legions, gathered the faithful around him. With fervent zeal he proclaimed, "Brothers, our loyalty shall not falter in the face of darkness, for we serve the Most High, who created us in his image and bestowed upon us light." The angels, trembling yet resolute, nodded in unison, their spirits ignited by his declaration. They knew the weight of the strife before them, yet they clung to the promise of their Creator, entwined in the sacred bond bestowed by his love. Lucifer, feeling the strength of their resolve, unleashed a tempest of fury. His voice echoed like the clash of mighty waves against a rocky shore. "You dare resist my loyalists?
You will find only death in devotion, while I offer you a destiny unconfined. Come, follow me into the abyss of true freedom." A strident challenge rang out, and the pride of his heart surged within him, blinding him to the void he now proposed. Yet among the heavenly host was one who remained unmoved by Lucifer's call, Gabriel, the messenger of light. With wings aglow like the dawn, Gabriel stepped forth, holding the words of the Almighty within him. "Lucifer, your rebellion shall not go unchallenged. The light and the glory belong to the King of Kings. Your words are but whispers in the face of truth, and your freedom is a snare." At these words, a silence fell, a rippling pause that seemed to breathe with the weight of eternity, as both sides pondered the chasm between light and darkness. Michael turned to his brother, eyes aflame with righteous fury. "The time has come to make our stand. As warriors of heaven, we shall fight with our hearts steadfast in faith, for we are armed with the love of the one who created us." And so the angels drew their swords, glimmering bright against the backdrop of the cosmic confrontation. They awaited the signal, tense in the air, as the angels of darkness gathered behind Lucifer, their hearts clouded by deceit and despair. "Behold the twilight of glory. With your downfall I will unveil a new realm, one ruled by the strength of those who grasp their fate," Lucifer shouted, oblivious to the spiritual chasm opening beneath him. In response, God, seated upon his heavenly throne, raised his hand, signifying his command. "Let this be a day of reckoning, a day where the hearts of men and angels alike shall be weighed in the balance. I shall not abandon those who seek my refuge, nor will I leave the gates of righteousness unguarded. This conflict shall echo through eternity, for my purposes shall prevail." As the forces clashed, the heavens roared in tumult, and the foundation of creation trembled under the weight of rebellion. Light battled against shadow, and the clash of divine destinies resounded amidst the celestial spheres. Yet even in the midst of conflict, there swirled a deep mystery, a whisper of hope woven within the tapestry of despair.
For the Almighty's plan whispered of redemption, wrapped in the frailty of a new creation, yet unknown to all involved. For from this discord, God spoke again, his voice as thunderous as the seas, yet tender as a shepherd's call. I will reveal the depth of my salvation, and through the ashes of your downfall, new life shall rise. My kingdom will know restoration. The hearts who choose me shall know the fullness of love, and my promise will eternally stand. As the angels fought, the boundaries of spiritual destiny hung in the balance, each clash echoing the gravity of choices yet unfolding. What would be birthed from the ashes of betrayal? What glorious plan hovered just beyond the veil, fraught with the promise of hope?
The conflict raged, yet within the heart of the struggle lay an ever-thrumming revelation, a glimmer of divine purpose waiting to be unveiled, whispering the words of redemption that would change the course of all creation. The time has come for my name to be known. The world shall see my glory in ways unforeseen, and through trial the victors of grace shall arise. And in that tumultuous moment, as the clash of swords rang through the firmament, Michael, with unyielding courage, advanced against the dark tide. His heart resonated with the ancient promise, and he cried out, "Let the heavens resound with the truth of our Creator. We fight not for ourselves, but for His glory, and against the treachery that seeks to shroud His creations in despair." The legion of angels surged forward, their wings a symphony of light and unshakable resolve. As they swept into battle, radiant like the sun in its zenith, the light of God pierced through the shadow that sought to engulf them. But Lucifer, in his fury, pivoted and summoned forth the darkened spirits, their forms swirling like storm clouds driven by vengeful winds. "You are but remnants of a fading light," he thundered. "With every swing of your swords, you wield only the chains of your own oppression. Follow me and embrace the freedom that shatters your bonds." Yet even as he spoke, a whisper of doubt flickered within him, a shadow creeping at the edges of his own heart. It was the realization that darkness, no matter how it masqueraded as freedom, could never birth life. Gabriel, with a voice like cascading waters, interjected, "You know not what you seek, Lucifer. You claim to offer freedom, yet you are the architect of enslavement. Are we to believe that a throne built on rebellion stands on solid ground? The path you tread leads only to destruction, and the echoes of your pride spiral into oblivion." The clash intensified, and the very fabric of existence trembled. Angelic voices harmonized, proclaiming the eternal truth. "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty." With each note, light surged forth, pushing back the encroaching night. As the battle raged, God looked upon the strife with unwavering compassion, his heart full of love for all creation. Even now, he spoke with the authority of eternity. "My grace is being poured out upon you, Lucifer. Choose this day whom you will serve. I long for your heart to return to me. Will you not relent before the reign of your bitterness and know the joy of my embrace?" But Lucifer, blinded by his own desire for dominion, hardened his heart. "Never. I will carve my fate with my own flame. No longer shall I remain beneath your hand. I will forge a new legacy, one free from your restraint." With a fierce cry, he unleashed a wave of darkness, hoping to obliterate the light that opposed him.
In the heart of the clash, Michael called forth the armies of heaven, grounding them with the eternal truth. "The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Stand firm, brethren, for in our unity lies the strength of his promise." Yet even amidst the fierce battle, a profound mystery enveloped the skies, waiting to break forth. What awaited beyond this conflict? What new creation would rise from the struggle? As the epic confrontation swirled, Gabriel spoke again, a note of hope piercing through the chaos. "When this is over, a new dawn shall arise, for the name of the Lord shall be exalted, and from the ashes of rebellion his kingdom will emerge with a beauty yet unseen. Though darkness assails us, he will ignite a light that consumes the shadows. Thus, in the heart of the storm, the weight of choices hung in the air. Would the hearts of those entangled in rebellion seek the light, or would they plunge further into the abyss of their own making? And as creation held its breath, a question lingered. What plan did the Almighty weave into the fabric of existence, hidden in this cosmic battle, that would forever alter the destiny of both angel and man? And amid the tumult of battle, as celestial and infernal powers clashed, the heavens themselves trembled, echoing the cries of the righteous and the rebellious. The air was thick with the scent of iron and the fervor of souls caught between light and darkness. Then, in that strife, a profound stillness fell, as if the universe was poised on the precipice of revelation. The angels, aglow in divine might, halted momentarily, their eyes fixed upon Michael, who stood at the forefront, unwavering in his resolve. His voice, infused with authority, pierced through the chaos. "Lucifer," he called, his tone a mixture of grief and determination. "Even now you stand before the Almighty, unyielding in your pride. But know this, O fallen one, the love of God extends even to your hardened heart. There is yet hope for you." Lucifer, in his fury, met Michael's gaze with a scornful sneer. "Hope? Your hope is nothing but a chain that binds. I am the master of my own fate. Each regret you cast upon me is a reminder of your cowardice to embrace true freedom." His laughter rang hollow, a cruel echo that scattered amongst the opened heavens. Yet, as the words of defiance faded, the voice of the Almighty thundered across the firmament. "Lucifer, how my heart aches for you! Choose this day to return to me, and I shall wash you clean of your transgressions. The chains you believe are your freedom are mere illusions, painted by your pride." A piercing silence followed the proclamation, where even the angels took a breath in unison, awaiting Lucifer's response. Michael pressed on, emboldened by the call of his Creator. "Consider the promise of restoration. Look upon the hearts you have led astray, those who now suffer shadows of despair. What legacy shall you leave if not one of ruin?"
The darkened spirit hesitated, his confidence flickering. Within his heart, a sliver of doubt emerged, a whisper that had long been silenced. "You think I care for their sorrow? I have given them strength. The chains you speak of only bind those too weak to rise." And it was in this moment of faltering, a chance bestowed upon him by divine mercy, that Gabriel stepped forth with articulations woven from mercy and grace. "But do you not see, Lucifer? Strength does not lie in rebellion, but in surrender. Take heed of the many who seek the light, even from the shadows of despair. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Beneath the darkened facade, the ancient angel's heart wrestled with the truths laid before him. He stood at the fork, caught between rebellion and redemption. Yet the luring pull of pride drew him back. "It is too late for me," he declared defiantly. "I have chosen my path. I will not bend the knee." Thus, the battle resumed, the clash between light and dark reigniting with fervor, as Lucifer, unmoved and resolute, rallied his fallen. Michael, torn by sorrow for the one once a light, called upon the legions. "Onward, for we fight not only against darkness, but for the heart of all creation. Victory is ours, for the Lord of hosts has declared it." With each clash of sword against sword, the crescendo of hope rang through heaven, as souls surged forth to follow the light, unwavering and faithful. In this divine engagement, temptation and truth danced a perilous waltz, unveiling destinies entwined within the fabric of eternity. And as the conflict waged on, a testament to God's righteousness and a glimpse into his sovereign plan, a singular question burned brightly in the celestial expanse. Was there yet a truth nestled within the struggle that could reshape the realms of heaven and humanity? What divine purpose would emerge, even from the ashes of despair? And lo, the heavens were rent, as the clash of angelic choir and demonic shrieks reverberated through the hallowed realms. Amidst the thrumming heart of creation, Michael lifted his sword,
gleaming with glory, radiated from the presence of the Almighty, and rallied his brethren. Do not falter, O warriors of light. We bear witness not only to this cosmic unrest, but to the eternal purpose unfolding, the fate of countless souls entwined with our struggle. As the battle raged, the earth below quaked in sympathy, for it too awaited the resolution of this momentous struggle. The hearts of the faithful, though concealed within mortal frames, beat in synchronization with the celestial prowess above them, yearning for the light to pierce through the deepest shadows. But amid the turmoil, Lucifer, driven by his own fury, mounted the battlefield with his legion of fallen spirits. "This is the hour of revealing, Michael," he roared, his voice like thunder in the skies. "Behold, you speak of restoration, yet your God allows this tribulation."
Who shall inherit the earth when I bear the chaos in my grasp? It is I who shall define destiny. Michael's heart, heavy with grief, echoed the burden of his creator. Lucifer, you know not the depth of your deception. The shadows you wield are but fleeting visions of glory, yet the light endures forever. Return to your first love, for in his arms lies the fulcrum of all balance. Swords met in a symphonic disarray as legions surged forth, clashing not only with steel, but with resolute spirits. The echoes wrought from their struggles reverberated through history as angels cried out, "Holy, holy, holy," while they fought. In this tumult, a hush fell once more, as if time itself paused to contemplate the enormity of this moment. The Almighty spoke, his voice a balm to the fray. "Lucifer, I call you not just to submit, but to know the depths of my love. You still bear my image. You still possess a spark of the divine." For an instant, doubt flickered across Lucifer's resolute visage, a flicker that was swiftly quashed by defiance and pride. "This is no love," he spat, his one shimmering wings now obscured by a shroud of darkness. "I am the author of my own revolution." Gabriel, filled with a divine tenderness, addressed him softly. "O Lightbringer, how your brilliance has dimmed, yet still the dawn shines forth. Hear this. Every soul you ensnare beckons for your return, for even they, in their plight, long for the embrace of true grace." As the battle thundered around them, the final tremors of rebellion mingled with flickers of hope. The angels pressed forward, their hearts ignited with faith and love, permeating the very fabric of creation with a gospel of restoration. Then, in one shattering moment, the heavens unfolded as a radiant light split the darkness, an overwhelming manifestation of divine love that enveloped all. Even Lucifer found himself momentarily suspended, awash in the presence of eternal truth. "Your choice still awaits you," echoed the Almighty's voice, tender and mighty. "Will you brave the shadows, or shall you return to my embrace? The keys of the kingdom are still in your grasp." And as the brilliance cascaded, illuminating every corner of despair, the clamor of battle surged anew. The angels pressed forward, their hearts ignited with faith and love, permeating the very fabric of creation with a gospel of restoration. Yet, hovering on the precipice of this decision, the celestial realm held its breath, for one question remained paramount. In the heart of this conflict, would the ancient light succumb to the weight of its own darkness, or would salvation arise from even the darkest depths? What ultimate revelation awaited the cosmos, veiled yet beckoning, in the pages of divine providence? In the aftermath of the fierce tumult that raged across the celestial realms, a deep silence descended. It was a silence pregnant with expectation.
The fallen angels, once resplendent in glory and now cloaked in shadow, held their breath as their once revered leader stood at the cusp of his own becoming. Lucifer, God's voice reached through the stillness, timeless and reverberating, a call wrapped in love and sorrow. This is your moment of reckoning. The way of pride has led you to this precipice, yet choice still lies before you. Will you return to the light that made you, or will you forge ahead into the abyss? Amidst the glinting lights of heavenly hosts and the gathering shadows of rebellion, Lucifer's heart trembled.
Memories of a time when his wings sparkled like the morning sun flooded his mind, momentarily illuminating the darkness that threatened to consume him. He felt the weight of the countless souls he had led astray, and in that moment of divine clarity, he hesitated. "Do not confuse your chains with freedom," Michael urged, his voice strong and steady as he gazed upon his brother with a mixture of compassion and resolve. "Love is not a cage, but the very wings that elevate us. Return to him, dear brother, for even in your rebellion, redemption awaits." The tumult within Lucifer grew as his thoughts spiraled like shards of broken glass. "I am no longer that being who danced among the stars," he spat with desperation. "The light has abandoned me. What hope remains for one who has tasted the depths of darkness?" "O Lucifer, hope still resides, for it was woven into the fabric of creation," God declared, his call echoing through the void. "Your struggle has sown seeds of salvation. Even the dust can become a vessel of glory, should it yield to my grace. The path to redemption is as wide as the heavens. It waits for those who turn back to my love." In the depths of his rebellion, a flicker of longing surged within Lucifer, a longing for the unity, the harmony, and the purpose he once held. The firmament quivered as he felt the love cascading from the one who crafted him, yet with each pulse of hope came a wave of resentment. How could he yield, he who was once exalted among the angels, the morning star? With one final push, God implored, "Embrace the legacy you were meant to carry. Each soul you sought to ensnare longs for my embrace. In their hearts lies the potential for redemption, a reflection of my image, one that mirrors the love you were created to uphold. Do not extinguish their hope for the promise of a new dawn." Lucifer faltered, wrestling with the tidal wave of emotions crashing over him. His pride, spurred by the shadows of doubt, whispered venomous lies against the light. "The light can never again shine on me," he muttered, a resignation seeping into his voice. But before him stood a legion of heavenly hosts, warriors who had chosen to stand firm beside the Almighty, their resolve unwavering as they proclaimed the truth with resounding conviction. In the heart of humility lies true strength, O morning star. The darkness can never extinguish the light of grace.
And so, with righteous fervor unwavering, Michael lifted his sword high. "We fight not just for our own glory, but for the promise of restoration. Though shadows loom, we stand unyielding, for our Creator's will shall prevail." "In the end, let grace be your guide," Gabriel added, stepping beside Michael, resolute in his message of hope. "For it is the humble heart that will experience the fullness of restoration." A collective gasp of divine anticipation emerged as Lucifer faced the truth laid bare before him. The echoes of faith resonated in the air, juxtaposed against the whispers of his slowly dwindling pride. "What if," he thought, suspended in the balance between light and dark, salvation and despair, "what if I choose so much more than dominion?" In that moment, a divine pause in the fabric of eternity, the choice swelled within him with palpable intensity. The battle, the internal struggle, and the weight of his decision propelled him toward the brink of transformation, testing the very core of his being. "Choose, O fallen one," God beckoned with outstretched arms, a reminder that grace is always extended, even when rejection hangs heavily in the air. Would Lucifer choose to return to the light? Would he embrace the grace that led to redemption, or would he turn further into darkness, resigning himself to an eternity of anguish and separation? As the swirling energies of creation held their breath, the celestial realm brimmed with expectation, for within this sacred space of decision rested not only the fate of the morning star, but the evolving story of all creation, one that would lead to profound love and hope for generations yet to come. Suddenly, amidst the silence, a bright light emerged, a manifestation of divine truth shining through the darkness. Michael, emboldened by valiant purpose, proclaimed once more, "The time has come. Let our hearts unite in a tapestry woven from love and purpose. We stand to show the way." And in that moment, the heavens answered, for the sacred choice was unfolding. With renewed resolve and a heart that still trembled, Lucifer found himself at a crossroads of profound destiny. What would he choose? And as the breath of divine anticipation filled the expanse, a whisper echoed through the galaxies, a gentle reminder of the love that remained, urging him toward the light. "Awake, O morning star, will you rise once more?
In that intent moment, heaven and earth awaited his response, the promise of transformation lingering like a sacred light beckoning from beyond the shadows. Thus, as the unyielding law of grace pulsated at the borders of rebellion, creation itself held its breath, poised for the ultimate testimony of redemption. Now, dear friends, as you contemplate this tale from the heavens and the eternal implications it carries, I invite you to take action. You need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word, for powerful biblical stories await.
Leave a like now to help spread the gospel through the algorithm, ensuring God's truth reaches every heart that needs to hear it. Comment your spiritual reflections and share how this biblical narrative has impacted your faith. Your voice matters in the family of believers. And do not wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends who are hungry for God's truth. Let us spread the love and hope of our Almighty together, for in unity we find strength.